Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the channel. So I've actually had this video recorded before, but I tried something new with it and I used my GoPro instead of my phone that I typically use for these kind of videos. So I want to use the GoPro because it does 4K, but when I had my mic Bluetooth to it, it picks up the mic sound, which is fine, that's what you want, but then it also picked up all the ambient noises, so all the wind and whatever road noise, it picked that up too. So it combined those two audio sources and it just sounded like crap. So we're redoing it. Now, it's a pretty quick topic, nothing like super in-depth, but I want to make a video for you guys where we kind of go over a dyno tune versus a street tune. Like I said before, this will be a pretty quick video, but there's going to be, of course with everything, there's pros and cons to both dyno tune or street tuning. So in my experience, I've always had my cars dyno tuned. Both my Camaros, my S197, my S550 Mustang, they always were dyno tuned. And I kind of figured that dyno tuning was genuinely just better because you're tuning the car in a controlled environment. And that does have its advantage because in that controlled environment, everything's very repeatable and also everything's much safer. Where if you're doing street tuning, you have to data log the car. Data logging gets pretty sketchy. Usually what they want in a data log is a clean pull where traction control is not cutting in. And to do that, especially on the boosted setups, you generally have to be in third gear, and then to do a pull all the way to third gear to red line, you're usually doing a felony speed. So a dyno tune is much safer in that way. But the problem is that you're not tuning the car for a real world environment like a street tune. And I always thought that dyno tunes were always going to be more accurate, and that's not really the case. So dyno tunes do have their precision and their accuracy, but it's not that that precision or accuracy can't be matched with a street tune as well. Street tuning is and can be just as accurate as dyno tuning. Now, obviously it takes more logs, takes more data logging, more highway red line watt pulls in third gear. That's definitely going to get you a speeding ticket if you get caught. But don't think that street tuning is less accurate or you're going to make less power in street tuning, because a reputable and very good street tuner is going to be able to squeeze the most out of the car just like they would be able to do on a dyno. For me, my tune is by Rob Shoemaker and I've been loving it so far. Both the tune and his customer service and his team have been absolutely fantastic. Absolutely no complaints, and I would recommend him 10 out of 10 times. But it's just the data logging, it's kind of sketchy. Now, sometimes they're okay with sending you, they're okay with me sending them a file where traction control is kicking in, but of course, it's going to be a much more readable file if there isn't any of that invasive traction control coming on. So, again, with the dyno tune, don't think that they're more accurate. They definitely are safer. They're definitely more repeatable, and there is some advantages to just doing it in a controlled environment. But a street tune can be just as accurate and make just as much power. And also, too, again, the street tune has its advantage that you're tuning the car in a real world environment. How the car is tuned is exactly how the car is driven. Where on a dyno, that's not the case. How it's driven and how it's tuned are very, I don't want to say very two different environments, but there's much less of a load on the car on a dyno than when you're actually doing pulls on the road with people in it. So that's just a quick rundown, street versus dyno tune. I've been extremely happy with my street tune from Rob Shoemaker, like I said. I have been interested. I kind of want to just get the car on a dyno, not to do any tuning, but just get the car on a dyno to see what actually I'm making with it. I've seen people with my setup, so a stage 2, a 3.625 pulley, long tube headers, and a Shoemaker tune, and on E30, they're making around the 750 wheel horsepower mark, mid 700, somewhere around there. So I've been really wanting to get this on a dyno and have a video for you guys just showing what kind of power I make with this kind of setup, because it's a pretty, I don't want to say standard setup, but it's kind of what you generally do before you actually start upgrading your fuel system. So I have seen people running 3.5 pulleys on E30 on a stage 2 Whippled with their stock fuel system, but right there you are on the bleeding edge of what your fuel system and fuel pumps can provide. Anything after that, you absolutely need to go with either a double or a triple pump return style fuel system. But 3.625 E30 stage 2 Whipple, this is a safe, very much an upper limit of what the fuel system can handle. But that's kind of another topic. I just want to get the car on a dyno. I think it'd be super cool. I don't really have any plans to upgrade the fuel system and push the car harder relatively in the near future, but I don't know, maybe in a year. I guess we'll see where we are and where the channel is. And I definitely love to push it harder, but gosh, things get expensive with these things. But hopefully that kind of helps you guys out, a dyno tune or a street tune. I remember my hesitancy with a street tune was like, is it really going to be as good? Is it really going to be as accurate? Yes, it will be. As long as you're going with a reputable tuner. I know there's lots out there. I've only had experience with Rob Shoemaker, and he's definitely very well known. I'd say at least top 10 in the Mustang tuning community. So if you're not super sure, I'd just say go with Rob Shoemaker. Street tunes, also, they're a bit cheaper. They're definitely a bit cheaper. And the revisions that you do when you install parts with a street tune, at least in my experience, Rob Shoemaker and his team, they haven't been charging for any additional tune revision. Now with a dyno tune, that's going to be different. So if you get your car dyno tuned, which generally is going to be about $300 to $500 more than a street tune, but if you get your car dyno tuned and then you add a part and you need to tune for that new part, they're going to charge you for more time on the dyno. It may not be quite as expensive. Since you're just revising the tune, but either way, you're going to be spending more money just to get a revision for the tune. Where with street tuning, that's not always the case. At least not with mine. So hopefully you guys enjoy that quick little video. I know, super quick topic, super quick kind of discussion here. But I appreciate you guys tuning in for a new video. I'm definitely excited that this one's definitely of higher quality than the last one. I want to at least keep my videos at the same quality, and I have some investment in some more filming equipment coming. And that way we can at least stay the same or increase quality. Definitely want to increase quality, but just got to buy some more stuff for that. So appreciate you guys tuning into this video. I'm going to give you guys my usual spiel. Don't worry about liking, commenting, or subscribing. If you guys want to participate, awesome. If you guys are taking value from my videos, that's all I could ask for. If you want to do a subscription, I'd be more than honored, but don't feel like you have to. I just get too annoyed by people on YouTube begging for subscriptions, especially when it's like your first time there. So again, appreciate you guys and take care.